You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning, everyone. One of the headlines that came out, I got several headlines last week, and I didn't get at it so much last week because of just being busy. And the phone ringing off the hook when I announced that as of June 1st, going to go into full-time teaching. And people were panicking. Look, I'm not going anywhere, guys, okay? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving the planet. Well, as far as I know, not leaving the planet. I'm still going to be very active. Listen, the Martin Clinic is still on 1895 LaSalle. It'll still be there. If if we have been treating you for hormones, we're not going to stop treating you. The issue is coming to see me personally. And look, I answer all the questions I get, and I'm still very active. You get more of me than ever because I'm going to be very active online. And you want my opinion on things, or look, that continues. We're not stopping that, okay? Like I said, I am just going to go out to the masses. I've had several speaking engagements already set up. It's just things I could hardly do because I've been so busy in the office. And this is something I wanted to do. And I want to teach, health coaching. Teach people how to become a health coach. That's all coming. We got announcements coming about that. So, like I said, it's a change. For people, 98% of people that watch my videos or listen to our podcast, they never came to Sudbury or weren't intending to come to Sudbury. So listen, I know it affects my patients. I've worked hard to get a good reputation and to take care of people individually, and I love that. But if you've been a patient at the Martin Clinic, you're still a patient in that sense, okay? So we're not going to abandon you, and we'll guide you still. We've got health coaches that are full-time. They work hard, Brandy and Jeanette and Nicole, and we're not going anywhere. So just wanted to, like I said, people thought I died, okay, or I got sick and I was going to die by June 1st. Well, again, I don't control that, but I'm just going in a different direction to some extent. Okay, so now I got to tell you, when I read this headline, you guys probably would never see it because I don't think it ever made I know it didn't make the media because I didn't see it on the media. It was a headline from a medical journal. A very, medical journals are not what they used to be, right? Because with this all online stuff and the American Journal of Medicine and probably the foremost journal of medicine was the British Medical Journal. Okay, so for doctors of any kind, physicians, that was sort of the gold standard of medical journals, was the British Medical Journal. Okay, established, I don't know, well over 100 years ago, and they've been around for a long time and very, very popular. And even today, I think they're still fairly popular amongst physicians. And they probably read the articles online rather than in actual hard print, but I don't know that. I just read it online. So here's the headline from last week. It'll blow you away, guys. It'll blow you away. Let me read it to you. British Medical Journal. Pushing diabetics to take insulin is a medical scam. By the editor of the British Medical Journal. Like, I just about fell over when I read that. Pushing diabetics to take insulin is a medical scam. You think that Dr. Martin said that? Wow. I was flabbergasted. And if you read the article, it's just common sense, because what they're saying is, if you're a diabetic, now I'm not talking about, and they weren't, talking about type 1 diabetes, which is an autoimmune disease. The pancreas doesn't work at all. It's autoimmune. But type 2 diabetes is adult onset, although it's happening in children today. It's due to your diet. It's on your plate. And what medicine has done, look, insulin can save your life. So when they make insulin, wonderful. It should be temporary, given to type 1 diabetics, but not type 2. And by the way, I'll talk about type 1 in a second. Type 2 diabetics is adult, what they call adult onset diabetes. It's on your plate. The cause is the plate. It's food. It's not. So what they're saying, imagine, we've come where there's people actually in the medical communities thinking like the status quo isn't working. It's not working. What are they saying now? Just in the economy in the United States, the treatment of diabetes is almost twice the amount of their defense budget. It's near $1 trillion a year to treat it. Because they're treating it for people on the reset. Why did I originally start the reset? 4 weeks, eggs, meat, and cheese. I started with my diabetic patients. I said, you have an allergy to carbs. You and carbs don't get along anymore. You can't have them. No negotiations. You're not a lawyer. Stop negotiating with me or yourself. Don't fool yourself anymore. You're on the Titanic. You're going to hit the iceberg. Well, you already hit it. Now you better get on those lifeboats and get off. So what the medical, imagine the British Medical Journal. They said giving insulin is a scam. Fix the problem. Isn't that wonderful? Think of how, now I can imagine the blowback from the pharmaceutical industry. It's going to be insane, the blowback. Like, guys, this is common sense. Common sense, you know? Okay, so look, you find out you're a diabetic and the doctor puts you on insulin. Okay, I get it. That's how they treat it. They don't want you to die from ketoacidosis where your sugars go crazy. They want to control that. I get that. I understand that. But that doesn't fix the problem. That doesn't fix the problem. Fixing the problem is changing your diet. It's changing your diet. And doctors don't talk, by and large, they don't talk to you about your diet. It's on the plate. Type 2 diabetes is not autoimmune. It's not, your genetics. It isn't. It's not your genetics. Genetics might make you more susceptible, where you can't have as near as many carbs maybe as somebody else. But if you become a diabetic, it's your fault. It's insulin. You got insulin resistance, you got high circulating insulin, and you got to change your diet. That's what you have to do. So look, it's not complicated. I tell my diabetic patients the cat story. So guys, listen, it's the cat story. You remember that one? Lady come into the office, true story. Doc, I got allergies. Oh yeah, what are you allergic to? The cat. Well, get rid of the cat. Then you get rid of your allergies. If you have an allergy to your cat, don't come to my office and ask me what I should do about it. Get rid of your cat. You got an allergy to it. When you're a diabetic or even a pre-diabetic, you got an allergy to carbs. What are some of the hidden signs that you are on the Titanic as far as diabetes. You got high triglycerides. Yeah, that's dangerous for your heart. Your cholesterol, your good cholesterol is not good enough. You got to fix that. Those are signs. You got fatty liver. You're diabetic. Oh no, my doc says I'm not a diabetic. My sugars are still, within this range. No, you're a diabetic. You got fatty liver. You get fatty liver because you're a carboholic. This suitcase is full. You know what? The worst deception in the world is self-deception. I tell people, don't deceive yourself. You're a diabetic. Put your hand up. My name is Tony and I'm a carboholic. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Your blood pressure is high. I don't care if you're skinny as a rake. You got too much insulin circulating in your body. It's affecting your kidneys. And you could be skinny as a rake. A lot of people, they never put on a pound and they think I'm healthy. That doesn't make you healthy. No, what's your insulin doing? Insulin, I named it in a book years ago. 2 hormones, serial killers, 2 hormones that want you dead. One of them was insulin. It's out to kill you. Because insulin, God bless it, it's a hormone that your pancreas releases. We use too much of those. You use too much insulin. And when your insulin's elevated, it creates an inflammatory response in the body. It's like a fog in the body. And the body the cells are not communicating with each other properly. And this creates a cascade of problems. Okay? Let me give you another one because I am going to tie in another story that came out last week that on Alzheimer's. Here is insulin resistance affects the blood. There's 2 of them I want to talk to you about. Insulin resistance. Here is another headline last week. Insulin resistance affects the blood-brain barrier, and the blood-brain barrier won't allow insulin into the brain to get the sugar. So I taught this to you a while back. So if you go on a previous podcast, I talked to you about that, about how the brain operates. You have a blood-brain barrier, just like you have a gut-blood barrier. You have a blood-brain barrier. And that barrier around your brain is to protect your brain. When it's working properly, it will not allow any heavy metals to come in. It tries to block yeast. Now we know that it's made up of bacteria, just like your gut. Your gut has friendly bacteria that makes up that barrier. And when you eat way too much sugar, you destroy the barrier, and antibiotics can destroy the barrier and it can affect even your brain. But I don't want to even talk about that. I just want to talk about what happens with sugar. So let's say you're a carboholic, okay? And you've been eating carbs for a long time, and because the Canada's Food Guide, the American's food pyramid, it was all upside down, that pyramid. Grains, you need grains, you need fruits and vegetables. I know that you don't need any grains, by the way. And I got another headline, I don't know if I'll get to it today, but grains aren't what they used to be. We live in a completely different world when it comes to grains. But remember, because the grains have changed, they are very, very full of carbs, not like it used to be 100 years ago. Okay? So, insulin, when your insulin is high circulating insulin, bread, pasta, rice, cereal, sugar, sweets, pastries, juice, milk, alcohol, store-bought milk, okay? Ladies, your yogurt, okay? What that does, it creates what we call high circulating insulin, because you're using insulin all the time. Remember the illustration I give you. I hope you like my illustrations. I'm a very simple guy. I got to give you simple, because that's the way I think. I'm simple. Okay? I'm a simple guy. I can't help myself. I'm not complicated. Well, my wife says I'm complicated, but I'm not that complicated. Okay, now look. What do you have inside a pen? Ink. Okay? Well, the ink is probably down right to about here now. Okay, halfway down. Your pancreas, guys, literally is the size of this pen. It sits right underneath your stomach. Your pancreas releases insulin, just like a pen releases ink. So what happens? You're a carboholic. Squirt, 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 squirt. You're releasing insulin all the time. All the time, you eat frequently. You eat a lot of carbs. Insulin, insulin. Every time you eat, you need insulin. But when you eat crappy carbohydrates especially, you release a lot of insulin. Eventually, you've flooded your body with insulin. Your cells don't like it. Your cells resist it. They don't like insulin at a high level. Your body wasn't meant to have insulin at a high level for a long period of time. That's why kids today, they're already on the Titanic. They're just little kids, but they live on juice boxes. Folks, never drink another ounce of juice. Are you listening? Don't drink any juice. You can have Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, but that's not juice. You have a few berries in there. But you're using cream, not milk. Oh, Dr. Martin, can I use almond milk? Why do you want to have almond milk for? Unsweetened, okay. Coconut, have coconut milk, okay? And not the stuff you buy in the grocery stores. Like the old-fashioned coconut milk was real coconut milk put in a can when I was a kid. Not that I ever drank it, right? But guys, you're wearing out not your pen, you're wearing out your insulin. So what happens? Now let me just specifically talk about the brain. When insulin is high, over a period of time, the blood-brain barrier no longer allows insulin to get inside your brain. So, okay, now let me just make this as simple as I know how to make it simple. Let's say you eat a chocolate bar or a sandwich, okay? Because I get a lot of people, especially men, they're going to work. Doc, I got to have my sandwiches. It's easy, it's convenient. I got to have my bread. I said, I know, but the bread turns to sugar in 5 seconds. Okay, so piece of bread turns to sugar. The sugar, in 5 seconds, the brain is headquarters. It'll take 20% of what you ate as sugar and take it right inside the brain. It will look for fuel that's fast, okay? That's why kids with ADD and ADHD, they eat sugar and they go boink, 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 boink in their classroom. And teachers are going crazy because of ADD and ADHD. And how many kids have that? Okay? They can't sit still for 5 seconds. They have too much sugar in their brain. Parents, every parent on the planet knows what sugar does. You don't give sugar to your kids before they go to bed, do you? How come doctors don't know what you know? But what happens in the brain, the sugar is there, it's headquarters. Insulin's job, okay, the ink in the pen, insulin's job, remember what I teach you. Insulin's primary job is to control your blood sugar. So what does it do? It's the traffic cop. Come here, sugar. Don't stay in the blood vessels because you're going to damage the blood vessels. Sugar is highly toxic. So come here, sugar. I'm going to park you either in the liver or in the muscles, or I'm going to make fat cells. That's what insulin does. Okay? So insulin is a traffic cop. Here is the problem, and I've been saying this for so many years. The problem in the brain specifically is if you have high circulating insulin, or as medicine calls it, insulin resistance, your blood-brain barrier changes. and it will no longer allow insulin to get into the brain to take the sugar out of there. Now, how dangerous is that? That's what causes Alzheimer's. That's why we originally coined Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. They're looking for a drug just like insulin to fix Alzheimer's. They haven't found it yet. And it's because they're looking for love in all the wrong places. You got it? So what happens? The brain changes, because what does sugar do inside your brain? It destroys your brain cells. That's what it does, guys. Sugar, look at, if I emptied out your blood, most people got 4 to 5 liters of blood, okay? If I empty that out today, assuming that you're not diabetic, okay? You got like a quarter of a teaspoon of sugar in your bloodstream at all times. You see, insulin's job is never to allow your sugar to stay in your bloodstream. It's so toxic. That's why diabetics have trouble with circulation, because sugar destroys, the first thing that sugar destroys is your capillaries. The little eensy beensy teeny weeny blood vessels that connect your arteries to your veins. Those blood vessels are so tiny that, like every little red blood cell, when you go to sleep, you count sheep. I count red blood cells because I've been looking at red blood cells for so many years. If I want to go to sleep, I just count. I'm just teasing you, okay? So all I'm saying is that your capillaries get damaged. That's the number one thing that happens with diabetics and pre-diabetics. Their blood vessels, their circulation to their eyes, to their kidneys. You got kidney problems? You got blood pressure problems? You got eye problems? The vast majority of time, it's because you have too much sugar left in your bloodstream, or too much insulin that's not doing its job because your cells don't like insulin at high amounts, and then they don't listen anymore. Don't wait till you get an official diagnosis of diabetes. Save your pancreas, save your life. I think I just got it. That's what I'm talking about. That's my new book. Save your pancreas, save your life. How do you like that? I think that's a good title. I just thought of it. Save your pancreas, save your life. From heart disease to cancer to diabetes to Alzheimer's. Save your pancreas, save your life. It's all connected, guys. That's why I'm so simple. It's all connected. That's why I created the reset diet. It'll save your pancreas and save your life. Oh, doc, it's hard. I didn't say it wasn't hard. I understand it's hard. Anything worthwhile is hard. It's hard to just eat eggs, meat, and cheese. I know that. Doc, I gotta have my bread. No, you don't. I gotta have my noodles. No, you don't. Save your pancreas, save your life. I like that. I'm getting excited here. See what I'm saying, guys? See what I'm saying? And the British Medical Journal, that doctors read, the headline is, pushing diabetics to take insulin is a medical scam. Wow! You want to get me supercharged? Talk to me about insulin. I get supercharged. It's one of the seeds of disease, the main one, because it's food, guys. You change your diet. It's unbelievable. Like I said, I always equate it to when people started to get the memo about smoking. Smoking's bad for you. It is? My dad didn't know that until 1962. Hello? Smoking is bad for you. Okay, got the memo. You're never going to go to a doctor anywhere in North America, I don't think anyways, that'll tell you to smoke. And don't vape either. Okay? Don't do that stuff. Not good for you. Okay? And don't smoke marijuana either. That ain't good for you either. It's still smoking. Okay. But now the new smoking is sugar. You guys get it. I know that. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm just pumping your tires up this morning. The study on Alzheimer's. Insulin resistance affects the blood-brain barrier. The barrier when you have insulin resistance and high circulating insulin won't allow insulin to the brain to get the sugar out of the brain, and sugar destroys. It's like a slow poison, guys. And this is why, here's another headline. Here's another one. I think I wrote it here. Let me just get to it. Another headline is, if you have diabetes, okay, listen to what I'm saying. If you already have diabetes, you are 50% more likely to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. You got a 50% higher risk of Alzheimer's than the rest of the population. I guess I'm right. So don't let any doctor, endocrinologist, your family doctor or whatever tell you that number one, you can't live without carbohydrates. Don't let anybody tell you that. It's not true. Now, we might like carbohydrates, but your body doesn't need it. If it needs sugar, it will take a steak and make sugar. Did you know that? Your body knows how to do that. But remember what I said. If you empty out your bloodstream of your 4 or 5 liters of blood, you will have less than a quarter of a teaspoon of sugar in your bloodstream at all times. Your insulin tightly controls your sugars. You don't want to go too low in sugar, right? Because that's hypoglycemia. But you can control that with food, and you don't need sugar. As a matter of fact, the worst thing you can eat if you're low blood sugar is sugar. You know, like they used to tell a diabetic, like, have a chocolate bar if your sugars are going too low. No! Have protein, not a chocolate bar. Because you're going to drive your sugars up. But what goes up must come down. I always tell my hypoglycemic patients, low blood sugar patients, protein, 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 protein. Protein is king. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Cut your carbs back. Cut them out. For some people, you know, you can't even have 10 grams or 20 grams of carbs in a day. You just don't do well. Figure your body out. Okay, some people, they go to the gym and they can have a little bit more carbohydrates. Okay? It don't bother them. Okay, I get it. My wife's Italian. But when I look at spaghetti, and I got to be careful. Guys, if you want to know someone that deals with insulin problems, it's me. It's moi. You're Dr. Martin. I have to be so careful. I've always been a low-carb guy, myself, personally. I told you the story. I cut out sugar. You will never see me drink a pop. Never. If I was on an island, I guess, and dying of thirst, and a Pepsi come up on the beach, I guess I'd drink it to save my life. But I don't drink pop. I drink water and coffee. And my coffee, I don't put any sugar in it. None. Zero. Nada. What's the Spanish word for none? I can't remember. Okay, because I wanted to give it to you in another language. But guys, listen, you guys are doing so good. Over 2,000 people on the reset that ended today. Some of you are going to stay on it. You may not have hit all your goals yet, but that's all right. You know, somebody asked me if I'm pregnant, can I eat eggs, meat, and cheese? Yeah, if you want a healthy baby. Am I against fruits and vegetables? No, I'm not. Am I against legumes like beans and peas and nuts and seeds? No, I'm not. But on the reset, nada, none. Is there an enzyme to help your pancreas? Yeah, digestive enzymes do help the pancreas. Okay? Amylase and protease and lipase help the pancreas. Yes, it helps. But guys, here's what I say. You can never, ever undo a bad diet. You're just fooling yourself. You can go to the gym and spend 24 hours a day at the gym, and that will not undo a bad diet. You know me. The true vitamin E is exercise. I love it. I just worked out this morning before this podcast. Okay, I did. I lifted weights, and I did a little bit of cardio, and I work out, guys. I believe in it. That's the true vitamin E. Vitamin C for Dr. Martin is, vitamin E is exercise. Vitamin C is what? Coffee. I had my coffee this morning. Can't live without it. Okay? But the true issue is sugar. Crappy carbs. The middle aisles of your grocery store. Okay? Those are the big issues today. Now think of what we just learned this morning. Just reinforces what we've been talking about. And I am so proud of you guys because you listen. Listen, Linda. You guys listen. You're teachable. I think Jeanette and Nicole know me enough because my health coaches in the office, when we're in with a patient, and sometimes they'll say, Doc, why didn't you give that patient, really, really reinforce that they were in deep trouble? I said, you know why? After 45 years, soon to be 46 years in practice, I know when people are not listening. And if you don't listen, you're not teachable. If I can't teach you, well, doctor means teacher. I'm always trying to teach you. And I love you guys because you're teachable. Now, remember now in closing, the Martin Clinic ain't going nowhere. The Martin Clinic's not going anywhere. We're changing, but we're not going anywhere. We're here for you. You have any question? Look, if I don't get to your questions today, I'm going to get to your question. Don't be scared to send them off. Join our Martin Clinic Facebook group. It's a private group just for you. And the discussions in there are fabulous. Guys, you've done your reset. Put your testimony in there. Encourage other people. I preached last night at church on encouragement. I'm a preacher. I preached on encouragement. I'm a lay preacher, okay? How to encourage people, why you should be an encouragement. Okay, that's a tremendous gift of encouragement. And I tell people, look, be an encourager. That's what you guys are. No, not everybody's going to listen to you. I get that. Right? A lot of people, they don't like what I say. Okay. I'm giving information. You don't have to receive it. But I'm going to encourage you guys because you guys received the instruction. What was that headline? Save your pancreas, save your life. I got to write this down. I'm a senior. I'm going to forget. I'm writing this down as we speak. I don't know. I might get outvoted by my wife on the title of the book. Anyway, if it's not the title of the book, it's going to be chapter number 1. Okay. I love you guys. I love you guys. Remember, I'm not going anywhere. Okay, because people you wouldn't believe my phone on Thursday. It went off about 1,000 times. Like, are you dead, Dr. Martin? You got cancer? You got what? Why are you changing? Okay. Okay. Love you guys. Send me in your questions, okay? Talk to you soon.
You've reached the end of another Doctor Is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.